Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick trigger warning. Today's episode will discuss domestic abuse, which may be a triggering subject for some. Your mental health always comes first, so please prioritize that. Resources are linked down in the description below. If you need help, please do reach out for support. Take care, and thank you for listening. I don't really do an intro for these things. I kind of just...
Okay.
We're kind of just here.
Just go into it.
Yeah, I mean, we're right.
I'm into it. Let's go.
How are we doing, Aura? Welcome.
Doing good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, a pleasure. You've been like the biggest supporter so far. I feel like.
Yay. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, you suspected this before like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it like...
Know it.
I swear it was like a good 3 or 4 months ago. You would be like commenting on my tweets like, podcast? I'm like,
yeah, pretty much.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I think it was sort of me just manifesting it. I think it was more me sort of knowing you, having met you as well, knowing that you would be so good at it. So it was kind of like I just wanted to like plant the seed a little bit,
right?
Get you thinking about it, and then hopefully you would do it.
Okay.
But I did have an inkling about like maybe a month ago, and I was like, I think he's doing it.
Yeah.
I think he's onto something.
Yeah, I put a couple of teasers out there. I think I actually tweeted that I was bringing out a podcast this time 2024, and then just nothing happened of it. I was like, damn, I really got to stop like putting things out into the world before I do it. Like telling people that I'm doing something. So I just kept everything hush hush, but it kind of dragged it out of me. But for those that don't know,
sorry,
this is Aura Doopy, as you go by online. Tell us about yourself. Tell us, who are you, where you come from?
My name is actually Aura. I'm 26. I was born in Manchester. And right?
I did not know
knows
that.
I
did not know that. Just thought you were a southern gal.
Stockport Hospital.
Ooh, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Stockport is
fuck out of there quick.
You dipped.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, we moved when I was about 4 or 5, so I lost the accent pretty quick.
Oh, thank that's lucky.
I feel like I should have kept it.
You wish you kept it?
I feel like it would have made me more interesting. Yeah.
Really? The Northerners do have a good accent, like no matter where you are up north.
Yeah.
Why did you move down south then?
I think it was just my mum's family was more down here.
Okay.
I don't actually know why. I should have asked her that. But yeah, we just moved down south, and then I've been down here ever since. Okay. I am the exact middle child of 7 siblings.
7?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
How's that?
Not all to the same dad. I mean, it's fine, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, every middle child out there will tell you that it's just neglect. No, I'm joking.
Joking, but true.
Beat me if she hears this. No, it's just middle child, isn't it? Yeah. I wasn't the age difference between me and my 2 brothers. One's like 2 years older than me, and then my younger one is like 3 or 4 years younger than me. Okay. So you'd think we'd be close, but we just weren't. Never a very close family, to be honest. Okay. Even now, like my sister's got 2 daughters and stuff, and you know, I don't really see them. I speak to them, and like I love them, and they know who I am. But we've just never been that close-knit family where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going over to my brother's this weekend or something like that, or I'm hanging out with them. It's just never been like that. But because obviously I had 3 brothers when I was 10, and then my older sister was very much into her gaming. That's how I just sort of got into it.
Right.
It was it was kind of just like forced upon me. Like, and every birthday we were all given our own console. So you've got my older sister who had PlayStation, my brother PlayStation, my younger brother Xbox Crystal. What do I get?
Oh my god.
I get a Wii. I'm sorry.
Wait, yeah, but wasn't Wii like big at the time though, back then?
Oh yeah, it was huge.
So I mean,
you can't do anything on it. It just tells you that you're a beast. My favorite game was like this. Yeah, well, I was great at tennis and boxing. That was it. But my favorite game was just an aquarium game, and you just sit there and watch fish, and then you just clean the glass every now and then. That was genuinely my favorite game on the Wii.
You just clean the glass of the.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was called?
No fucking clue. I should. I'll try and find it. But yeah, you literally just sit there and watch fish just swim around, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
ASMR before ASMR. Just like
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, but there's still some labor in it. You still got to feed them and like clean the glass.
Sounds quite challenging. You actually got to stay quite locked in. You can get complacent on that.
Yeah. It was really like, honestly, you should have seen my stats on it. Like I could have gone tournaments with that.
MLG aquarium.
Right?
Oh, that's so. What sort of game did you ever like play on your older siblings, like consoles and stuff?
Yeah, like the first big game that I got into was God of War.
Ooh, nice.
And I still love it now. Obviously, should absolutely not be playing that at the age that I was playing that.
No,
not really acceptable. The Mortal Kombat games, loved. BioShock as well. I remember playing that a lot. Actually, not a big fan of it anymore. I think it was just one of the games. No, I couldn't. I think it was just one of the games that my brother had, and I was like, yeah, why not? And then obviously Black Ops as well. Like you can't go wrong with the first three.
Oh god, I'm glad you included the third one because I don't think the third one gets enough love.
The third one is probably my favorite.
Yeah, same.
Unfortunately, I don't know why. Well, I don't know why people shit on it so much. I think it's great.
No, me neither. I think there was something about it. It was like a period in my life on Black Ops 3 where like I didn't have like online friends, but I wasn't really talking to like my IRL friends. So I was just like this lone wolf on Black Ops 3 where I was just an absolute, like I was kind of in my prime in gaming at that point.
Yeah, see, I never played with like friends either. I had them on like when I was older and I got my own Xbox. Thanks, Mum. It was, I had them on Xbox Live and stuff, but I never played with them because it's just I didn't, from a very young age, I just didn't want the gaming mentality of like you're shit, you're dog shit, you need to do better.
Toxicity.
Like, it was so toxic back then. And I'm not saying that it's still toxic, but it's still got a long way to go.
It is. I think it still is.
Yeah.
Like Warzone and that.
It's depending on games.
Yeah, very game dependent.
100%. Yeah. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to play with you because you're my friend, and if you start calling me shit, I'm gonna beat you up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So yeah, I wasn't a fan of playing with people, to be honest.
That's fair. There was something I found very peaceful. Like I was a big like Call of Duty Zombies kid. Like I think like we've spoken about zombies before. So like I was very content of just like solo running zombies like all night.
Yeah. Like that was it. And you would just you're competing against yourself, aren't you? You get to a certain round and you're like, nah, I can do better. That's great.
Fun fact. Do you remember like, I think it was on the first Black Ops, the Dead Ops arcade zombies, like the top down?
Oh my God. Yeah.
68th in the world. At one point.
Fuck off. Really?
I got to 68th on the leaderboard, yeah. It wasn't solo though, it was in duos with my buddy. But yeah, that's like my greatest gaming triumph.
Too right. Just from you saying that, the world now knows that you're not a virgin. Like that's top tier.
Do they though? I'm masking it pretty well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
No.
it wasn't 69th, it was 68th. I wish I could claim it to be 69th.
Okay, so if you were 69th, then everyone would know that you're not a virgin.
Yeah.
You've done foreplay. That's what the world knows. You're not full in there yet.
I got to first base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A girl
Maybe
looked
second.
at you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then quickly looked away.
Yeah. Maybe she looked at you a little bit longer and she thought you were someone that she knew, but you weren't, so she looked away. That could have been it.
She might have had a hair in her eye or something.
Yeah.
Most
Maybe
likely.
the sun.
Yeah.
I think so.
Nice, England, we don't get sun.
It
hailed today. It hailed.
I actually had sunshine where I am, so.
Dude, we had like 18 degrees last week. And so anyone that's like not from England watching this, like, oh, here they go talking about the weather again, but like we just have to.
There's nothing else to fucking talk about. This country's boring.
This is true.
It's the weather and the grey skies and oh my god, I saw a daffodil, which means spring is nearly here, but the weather's not fucking catching up yet. That's it. That's all we can talk about.
I'm all for this like government funded like fake clouds and stuff they send in. Send us some fake sunshine.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
100%. If you can create clouds out of nothing, you can create us some sunshine. Surely.
And not to sound stupid, but if there was like a really strong flashlight like in space and it shined down on England, would that be the same effect?
Possibly. I don't see why not. That's basically what the sun is, right?
Yeah, but would it create heat? Or would it just be light?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Maybe if it's a light so big, it will generate heat. If there's any astrophysicists out there listening to this podcast, please do let us know.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, let us know.
I'm looking at you, Neil. So
amazing.
Obviously, gaming's like one of your big loves and things like that, but you're also into. You're a bit of a spooky gal, aren't you? You like your your horror, your ghosts. Kind of scare me a little bit.
I've got Ouija board in my desk drawer.
Oh no!
I won't get it all out, but
no. What's that say? As above,
so below.
Oh god, no! That actually gives me like the heebie-jeebies. Like,
I love that shit. Genuinely love it.
You had any good like reactions or responses with it?
So I like to tell these stories because it says more about the person listening than it does me telling it, because your reaction will tell you if you believe it or not. I could be chatting shit, you know. I like chatting shit.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to. My mum actually bought me a Ouija board for my birthday, my 16th birthday. Great mum.
As you do.
Yeah, of course. And me and my friend, we set up his phone on one side of the room and it was recording. And then we were on the other side of the room and we were, you know, playing with the board and whatever. And we weren't really getting a lot. But we had 2 candles at the end of the table and one of the flames was just going crazy. So we just stopped playing with it and we just sat back and we were just looking at the candle and we were like, why is it doing that? And then we moved the candles because we thought maybe there's like a draft coming in, and it was the same candle that was just going really weird. So we were like, that's weird. Maybe we'll go back on the recording and see if that comes up. So we went back up to my bedroom and his phone automatically connected to my Bluetooth speaker. Not a good idea.
Oh God.
It was on my bed and we were listening to the recording and all you hear is this scream growl that was so loud it shook my bed. Like from the recording. And it was genuinely so loud and we were like, he instantly just burst into tears. He was like, what the fuck are you making me do? And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And I had to say to my mum, like the next day, I said, look, I'm really sorry we fucked around with the Ouija board. We shouldn't have. Can you listen to this? And she was like, yeah, that's some weird shit. And then that was it. And I was like, Hello. So we'd kind of just stopped playing with it for a while, and then I moved out into my own place, and I was like, let's do it. And we did this thing where we were like, you know, I don't know if you're pushing it, you don't know if I'm pushing it. Let's blindfold ourselves. Let's play hide and seek with something. So we got like a pen, and he would blindfold himself and put headphones on, and I was in control of how loud it was, and I'd hide the pen somewhere in the house, and then I'd come back, and then I would blindfold myself, and he would take the blindfold off just to see where I had located the pen.
Right.
And every single time it was right, which was very weird.
What? So you would hide the pen. You and your friend would blindfold each other separately, and then ask the Ouija board to locate where you've put the pen or the item.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like, it was right every time. We would.
Sorry, go on.
We would like take it in turns as well. So he would hide it sometimes, I would hide it sometimes, that sort of stuff. But it was only the one person who didn't hide it was looking at the board and could see what was going on, because then if I had hid it like in a drawer in my bedroom, he could have put like bathroom, and then I'd be like, well, you're pushing it because I didn't hide it there. Yeah. You see what I mean?
So you made it so you couldn't rig it, basically.
Yeah. We did that a couple of times, and I was like, okay, right, cool. I'll hide it in my bra this time. Literally, as soon as I put the blindfold on and put my hand down, it just came up bra. And I was like, okay. That's just...
I'd be out. I'd be so far out of that house. It's unbelievable.
If I bring my Ouija board to the link up, would you use it?
Oh, I don't want to mess with that stuff, man. Like,
really?
I believe in it too much. Like, I believe in spirits and all that. I don't know if that's... I don't know, like, are you messing with them? Are you asking for trouble there? Like, I think I could go to like a haunted house or like a haunted like place and maybe like sort of scope it out a little bit. I don't know, like just having my finger there and being there just fully exposed like that. I don't know. I think...
Well, let's see.
Well, in August, we're meeting up in August, a bunch of us. So, I mean, you can bring it, and I'll happily just sit by the barbecue, eating and drinking while you guys go and do it.
I don't want to scare them like that.
I think people will be up for it. I think a lot of people are tougher than I. I think I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. I was scared of the first Harry Potter film when it came out. Yeah, when he takes his like turban off and he's got the like Voldemort's in the back of the head, like that gave me nightmares. Yeah, that gave me nightmares. I was about like 8 years old, terrified. I've only just, at the ripe age of 29, I've only just started being able to watch horror films.
Horror films, though.
It.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's more psychological, isn't it? But it's good. Anything paranormal I can't do.
Really?
Yeah. Murder and things like that, yeah, I'm fine with. Torture, fine. Like the Saw films, yeah, that's great. But like paranormal activity, I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
Oh my god.
That. Yeah, it's too real, man. It's too real.
What, murder's not real?
Yeah, but like, I feel like I have a say in that. I feel like I could I could fight my way out of murder. I can't. I'm an absolute weasel.
I was going to say, you're going to consent to murder, is that?
I think because I could see it. No, I'm not. I'm not fishing for clips. I'm not consenting to murder. But like, I can see it, you know, unless it's obviously from behind. But like, it's physically. If I'm just being dangled upside down by nothing, like that. No.
Yeah, I can see that. Fair enough.
I don't like it.
I respect. That's fine.
I would go on like a ghost tour though. If we went to like a house or like a place that's supposedly haunted. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't been to anything like that, to be fair. I really want to. But it's finding the right people to go to, like with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to take it seriously and you want to put yourself in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of my friends would rather laugh their way out of it.
Don't know what you mean.
Not saying who.
That's me and Kyle uninvited.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm joking. I'm not saying like I want it to be dead serious all the time.
You want
But
people to show it the respect it deserves, kind of like.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is about the respect, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I think Jay would be up for it. Both like my Jay and JM. I think
JM
they'll both do
would,
it.
yeah, absolutely do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, not for me.
Amazing.
So moving away from like horror and stuff, what's your day to day? What do you do for work?
So I'm an early years practitioner apprentice. And basically what that role is that I work in a nursery from 0 to 5 years old, basically preparing them for the world, I guess. It's preparing them for school. It's teaching them how to walk. It's teaching them how to talk. It's teaching them how to use knives and forks and stuff like that. That's my day to day. I started in September. Since then, I have taught 3 babies how to walk.
That's cool.
It's great, honestly, because but the bad thing about it is that you can't tell the parents, because they've already given their baby to you
Right.
while they go off to work. They don't want to miss any milestones. So
Okay.
as much as it's great for me, I can't say, hey, you missed your kid's first steps. But they
Yeah,
did
it's a
it for
bit.
me. So like it's a
Yeah,
bit
that's a
shitty,
bit
really.
shitty. Yeah.
So we have to wait for the parents to tell us. And then we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, that's amazing. I hope they'll do it for us and stuff like that, which is great. First words as well. We don't tell the parents either. If they've said a first word, we don't
Is
say.
that like a
If they've
rule? Is that
already
like
said, yeah, pretty
yeah.
much. It's kind of, it's just out of respect for the parents.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they don't want to be missing these things.
Of course.
And it's just, yeah, it wouldn't sit right with me personally.
Yeah.
It's not like in writing or anything, and you know, when you start, you're not told to do that. But to me, it's just kind of common sense. Like, you know, that the
Yeah.
parent wants to experience that at home with their family.
It's not hurting them by not telling them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And first words as well, we don't say. If they've said a first word, leave it. You didn't hear it.
Yeah.
If they've already started speaking and stuff and they've already said their first word, then absolutely, I am happy to say any new words that the kid has learned. I'm helping he's 18 months old at the moment, and he is very, very advanced for his age. He's so clever. And we just argue, but he doesn't actually talk. He just sort of babbles at me. He understands what I'm saying, which is crazy. Like, I'll say to him, like, go and get your shoes. And he's like, ah. And I'm like, no, we're going to the garden. You need to go and get your shoes. And he's like, and he'll just point at his feet and go, ah. And I'm like, yeah, so go and get your shoes. And then he'll walk off and get his shoes and like put them next to me. And I'm like, yeah,
The
I told you,
sass.
put your shoes on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's crazy. But yeah, that's what I do. And then
That's cool.
I come home and I do the whole work side of it, where it's like, you know how to do it, you've just got to put it in writing that you know how to do it, and you've got to know
Yeah.
like policies and procedures and laws and all of that stuff. So that's my day to day. That's what I do.
Nice. So what made you go into that? Like, so you only started what, like 5-6 months ago?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to. I've basically always worked with kids anyway.
Right.
I used to work in this children's charity unit where we were giving respite to parents with kids with like additional needs and disabilities and stuff. So I was working with them, I was helping. I mean, we had this 7-year-old boy who came in and he didn't even know how to talk. So
Oh.
I had no training, but I was sort of like his speech therapist.
Mhm.
And now I'm still friends with the mum on Facebook. I get messages from her with like certificates saying like, oh, by the way,
Oh, that's
he's got an
cute.
A in English. And I'm like, oh, amazing. Like I did
That's really
that.
sweet.
Yeah. So it was just like, do you know what? I like these kids aren't going to remember me, and that's fine, but I'm going to remember the impact that I've made on them.
Yeah.
I mean, by the age of 18, I was running my own youth club as well. I had this huge group of kids, and they were just teenagers. They didn't know what they were doing. They wanted to fight and drink and stuff like that. And I used to sit with them every week and be like, okay, well, let's talk about bullying. Who's being bullied? Who's a bully? Let's talk about it. Let's be real.
Mhm.
And that was great. Like I loved working with that age group as well. And they respected me for it as well. I didn't sugarcoat anything, because when you're that age, everything is sugarcoated, and people don't ever just sit to you and say life is shit. It's okay for it to be shit. School is shit. Everyone hates school,
Mhm.
but you do your thing to get out of it by not hurting other people or impacting your life in the long run. And they loved it, absolutely loved it. And I've still got some of them on Facebook who will message me. Like one of
That's
them's got a
cool.
kid now, which isn't great. Obviously, she's a very young mum, but
Mm.
she said to me, she was like, I'm raising my kid in this way because that's what you told me to believe in. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh,
That must feel good.
that's
That must
great.
feel, yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
So starting a youth club at 18, like was that like a weird dynamic being so young and being a similar age to the people you're kind of helping and giving advice to and
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it obviously doesn't help. I've got such a baby face as well. I didn't have a lot of tattoos back then as well. I think I only had one.
Mhm.
Um, so I looked their age, and it was weird to begin with, because I was just like, they're not going to listen to me. Like, I'm not an adult,
Mhm.
I'm not an authority figure or anything, but you make yourself older, you make yourself that figure. You've got to, because no one else is going to.
Yeah.
Um, like, I just saw these kids as being like, well, they need someone to guide them, and it's a different guidance than they're going to get from school or from their parents.
Yeah.
Like, they need to know how to navigate life properly. I mean, I sat with one of them and taught them how to do like their taxes, and and when you're at a certain age, how do you go about getting a job and stuff. And we would do CV practices and stuff, and all of that stuff that you just don't really get in school that you should.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and I sort of just took it as like, well, I only left school a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and they're
Mhm.
getting to that age now, so I'll help them. I'll do that
Yeah.
for them. And it just sort of became that mentality of like, you don't have to respect me, you don't have to listen to me, you don't have to, so don't be here.
Yeah.
You don't have to be
Like
here. But
no
I
one's
never
forcing you to be here.
exactly. But I never had a kid walk out, which was great.
That's pretty impressive. So I mean, that I feel like more of that would be really beneficial because, like you say, like school do not teach you anything on like actually how to survive outside of school.
No.
It's like,
Like I would have loved to been able to taught budgeting. Like
yeah,
when I got my first job, I was racking in so much money and just did nothing with it.
hmm,
Didn't want to, didn't have to. I could have learned how to drive, I could have got a car, I could have gone a place for myself, and I just didn't, because, getting well, I mean, I was kind of responsible for it. I was getting like my college stuff and buses to and from college and stuff, but it was very
hmm,
much like I could have put that towards something, but no
yeah,
one's ever taught me how to do that or
yeah,
how to have that strong will.
yeah. No one ever really
Mm.
says like why is there not classes on like investment and like thinking about like I don't even own a credit card, but like there should be like conversations in school or lessons, even if it's like once a month. That doesn't have to be like a regular curriculum of just how to set up ISAs, how to invest your money wisely or to save,
Yeah.
like, and prepare yourself for going past 18, 21, 25, like into your 30s.
Yeah. Like even like if you find yourself in debt, what do you do? Like
Mm.
and how do you navigate the scams and stuff that surround debt? Because you get, I mean, I saw a couple on my Facebook where it's like, are you in debt? We'll wipe it all away. And it's just like, doesn't
No,
work
you
like that.
won't.
You're not going
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah. So it's just like someone needs to tell the younger generations how to actually like. It's why I used to get so
Survive.
frustrated at school. Yeah, like I sit back and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have listened better in school. I probably should have done better. But none of it has benefited me. Absolutely none of it. Like
No.
I don't remember geometry or chemistry or anything like that because it just didn't stick because it wasn't important. And I knew
Yeah.
even when I was a kid, it wasn't important enough to know. So I didn't.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like the things you study in school. I know in GCSEs you do get to pick where you want to go into, but it's also like it should. I feel like kids should have a bit more freedom in what they want to study. Because what's the point of me doing history if I don't actually give two craps about it?
Yeah,
And it's like if people do
again.
want to go into investment or banking, I suppose that would kind of come under mathematics, I suppose. But like,
Mm.
I feel like giving students a bit more free reign and a wider range of what to study rather than
Oh yeah.
just
But you think about it, you only get like the actual like really important studies and like classes at university.
yeah,
By that point, I think it's already too late
yeah,
because I personally don't think you should be wasting your degree on how to do investments or anything like that. You should already know that. So why don't
mhm,
you invest your degree into something that is actually gonna you want to do?
yeah,
Um, I think university is way too late, and for a lot of people can't even afford it, so they're never going to know these things,
mhm,
which is really sad, and I think it's really stupid. But
yeah. It's it's yeah, it's a weird one. So I think I've been away from schools and education for so long. I don't really know what it's like now, but I
I haven't
imagine
got a clue.
it's not too different to
No.
what it was. But no, I definitely think teaching and just educating people for life rather than just for getting an exam. Like my GCSEs in the long run meant nothing.
Yeah, I found myself in so many jobs where my GCSEs meant fuck all, and I was getting so much money from those jobs as well.
Yeah.
Good.
That's the thing nowadays. Like you can make an income or a living with zero experience. You could have no grammar. You could like be completely like not be able to spell. You can't count. But if you've got a bit of, I guess you'd call it street knowledge, is what you would class it. But like you can create a business through anything now. And you got like kids that are
Yeah,
15, 16 that are earning six figures a year. Like,
yeah. So I used to be a cleaner, and one of my clients he made the pizza oven that beat Jamie Oliver's pizza oven. It's like the best pizza oven in the world or something.
okay.
Fuck knows. Not really that into pizza ovens. Um, and I was over at his house, and he was telling me, he was just like, oh, you remind me of how I started out. He was like, I didn't go to school. I dropped out when I was 14. I didn't get any qualifications, never worked a day in my life. He was said I went into rehab when I was 17. He was
Wow.
like, I came out of it when I was 24. He was like, and then I made a pizza oven and now I'm rich. I'm like, oh, that's
It's yeah.
that's pretty wild. And he, yeah, and I just sort of got on with my life, and I was like, yeah, cool. I'm just a cleaner. Talk about your fucking riches and that.
Mhm.
And he had a phone call meeting, and he was just like, yeah, I want an underground car park in my house, and
Jeez.
also I need a helicopter pad in my back garden. And I'm just stood there like, can I get can I get some water, please? I'm a bit parched. Just cleaning your fucking house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just
But
polishing
yeah.
his helipad.
Yeah, fuck that. I got out of there so quick. I was just like, no. But yeah, it generally just goes to show you don't need what they're teaching in school to
No.
actually get something out of life. 100% no.
They're literally showing you the box. They're like, stay in this box and you get to work until you're 70, probably even like later by the time like other people like 18 have got older.
Yeah.
And then you die and that's it. You maybe have a few holidays, maybe what holiday a year, and that's it.
Pretty
But
much.
I think so many people now are just like speaking out that you can actually go do something else. You don't have to follow the linear path that everyone else is on. Like, I mean, that dude's probably being in rehab, and then a few years later, he's, oh, I really like pizzas. I'm gonna make something where I can have pizza like on tap.
I don't have a fucking clue how we got from heroin to pizza oven, but it works. So good for him.
Maybe we should have him on the podcast. That is an interesting
Do you know
story.
what? I might still have his number.
Yeah, you have to send that to me.
Yeah.
But no, speaking of stories,
yes.
do you want to get into your story of what we're here to talk about?
Yeah. Sure. I'm happy to.
If you're still comfortable to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right. So I don't really know how or where to start this. So I'll let you take the lead, but you, correct me if I'm wrong, were in an abusive relationship, and that is about all I know, to be fair.
It's about all anyone knows, to be honest, other than close friends and family and stuff. But yeah, I was in a domestic abuse relationship. It lasted 6 months. I was in therapy for a while about it, and got diagnosed with PTSD at the end of it, which was, I knew, so it wasn't a shock. I went into it. It sort of got to a point after we had ended, and I was just like, I was Googling PTSD and I was like, yeah, that's what I've got. So I phoned up the therapist and I was like, I've got PTSD. And she was like, well, have you been diagnosed? I said, no, but that's what you're going to diagnose me with. And she was like, all right, calm down. I was like, no, I know what this is. Like, come on, crack on.
Yeah.
I've been in therapy before. Just, tell me how to get over it. Do your job. Do the rest.
Yeah. So how old were you when this all started? Like, you want to go to the beginning? Like, what were you?
So I want to say I was about 23, 24, between that. So still quite young. I had already known him when I was younger. We had a massive group of friends. About 40, 50 people would go out every night and just, yeah. Very big group of friends when I was younger. And I sort of knew him through that group, but we had never interacted, didn't really speak. He wasn't my vibe. I had come out of a long-term relationship. I was with this other guy for about 5.5 years. So like dating sites and stuff were very new to me. And my friends were like, yeah, go for it, do it, see what's out there. And he came up and I was just like, oh, I know you. Hi, how are you and stuff. And we got talking. And it was genuinely one of those things that now I look back, I'm like, it was too good to be true. He was telling me everything that I wanted to know. Like, he was just like, yeah, I'm a family man. I want kids. I'm not into like partying or stuff like that. I want to work and I want to settle down and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, me too. This is fate. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we sort of got together and stuff. And at first I was like, well, I really like gaming. Like I game every single night with my friends. I love my friends. They live all over the world and stuff. Like I want to play games with my friends all the time. And he said, yeah, I love games. I love playing games. you know, I'll happily play something while you're playing something. Like, that's so cool. Like, I love that. And I was like, cool. The only game he ever played was FIFA. So,
Oof.
not a gamer.
Not
Sorry.
really, no. As a football
No.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously I didn't find that out until later.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how we got together and stuff. And I was just like, this guy is perfect and he's amazing, and you know, he's big and strong and he's got tattoos. Like, I love that. Like, that's sick.
Mhm.
I want to get more tattoos now and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how that started.
So when obviously so going into it, you kind of felt like from the outside, oh, this is like you're hearing everything you want to hear, you're seeing everything you want to see, and like everything's rosy. When did you first like notice when something was wrong? Was like, were there any like red flags?
So there were so many, and this is why I get disappointed with myself, because it's like, you're an idiot. Like, you should have known. Hindsight's a bitch.
It's hard to recognize though.
It is, honestly. He got my name tattooed
Oh.
on his neck.
Oof.
But he got it in a different language, and he was like, yeah, this says aura, and I'm like, probably doesn't. And he was
What
like, no,
language?
it does. Chinese, Japanese.
Oh god.
And I'm like, that could say egg fried rice. I don't fucking know what that says. But he had posted in my friend's Discord, look, I've got a tattoo of aura, like aura's on my
Oh.
neck. Yeah, so I was like, why do they need to know? That's
Yeah.
my friend. And obviously the gaming thing, he was not a gamer, did not play games.
Mhm.
But if I was playing games, he had to be there. He had to join in. No matter
Right.
who I was playing with, he had to be there. And this was at a time of my life where I was a mod for a really good friend of mine, and we would do Fortnite Fridays, and I would be on his
Mhm.
stream every Friday. And then Michael just had to be there, and he had to be on every single stream with me, and he had to be in the
Right.
chats with me. And I was just like, okay. And then it was, oh, do you know what? You play games too much. Why don't you spend more time with me? And I was like, okay, sure. And then
Mhm.
it was, you know, I'd dwindle that down to like maybe 1 or 2 days a week. And he was like, no, you're playing too long. You need to shorten how long you're playing. Like, I want you to come off at this time.
Oh.
And I was just like, okay, all right, sure. And then it was, oh, I don't really like this person, so we're not going to play with that person anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Weird
And
language to use.
again, like, you're making faces because it's so obvious that this is not acceptable behavior, especially for like 2 months in the relationship at this point as well.
That's very early on.
Very early. He didn't live at my place at all, but he
Mhm.
was there every single night. He would finish work and come straight here. Like, it was consistent. Even when my friend came down, because she used to come down and like spend weekends with me, he stayed too. And like, it was so weird because it's like me and her would share a bed together and like watch TV and stuff. No, we had to put an air mattress up so that she could sleep in the same room as us, but not with me. So that was
Right.
just like a bit weird.
Mhm.
I went up to hers one weekend for a party. He was then messaging her, I want to surprise Aura. I want to be there. Can you and he came.
Mhm.
And I was just like, and everyone was like in the living room, like, oh my God, Aura, look, your boyfriend's here. He just drove all this way. And I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. Um, so yeah, and that was like weeks into the relationship as well. That was very, very early on as
Yeah,
well, which is,
sounds very full on.
yeah. Another big red flag was that his family was trying to convince me to have his baby.
Whoa.
The whole relationship. It was so weird. Every time we'd go over there, his mum would be like, so when are you getting pregnant? And she wasn't like joking. She was deadpan with me all the time. She never smiled at me. He was a mummy's boy. He
Right.
would like pick her up and she would like curl her legs around him.
Huh?
Just I'm getting so
Wait,
many
wait,
flashbacks
wait,
now.
wait,
It
wait,
was
wait.
Genuinely, dead ass. He would like pick her up. He would have tickle fights with her and his sister as well. But yeah, they really wanted me to have this kid, and I was
I'm
like,
sure that was innocent.
no. Mm.
Mhm.
It's not my
No.
business.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So yeah, those were like the biggest red flags to begin with, where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And yeah, they even put me in like their family group chat, and then they renamed it Aura's having a baby.
Wait, what?
Like genuinely.
See, no, that's just super, like, well, one, like, well overstepping your boundaries as, like, your in-laws.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, her like his sister would message and be like, if I didn't reply, and if he didn't reply, she would be like, "Oh, they're having sex. Like, let's hope it's a girl," and stuff like that. Genuinely, yeah,
It
I
must
would
have been
have
so
to take.
uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable. I hated going to his mum's house. Hated it, but we weren't allowed to go to my mum's house. We weren't. Yeah,
Like,
that was obviously
separating you from
another.
your family.
Yeah, and I think it was because I'm very open and honest with my mum,
Mhm.
especially in my relationships. Like if I say like, oh, he didn't do the dishes last night, but I felt like I've done them too much. What do you think? She'd be like,
Mhm.
stop being a fucking idiot, just do them. So that's how I've always been with my mum. But Michael just got the sense that I was too open about our relationship and that everything should have stayed between us. And I'm like,
That
no,
sounds very contradictory.
a little bit. Um, so yeah, it was that period was just very uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
Um, and I had to take pregnancy tests like every 2 weeks, maybe more, maybe less, and prove to them I'm not fucking pregnant and it's not fucking happening.
Wow.
And I got removed from the group chat after a couple of times.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, but he had then somehow convinced himself that I was pregnant. And if he saw like my cat like laying on my stomach or something, he would be like, "Oh, look, he's hugging the baby." And I'm like, "There's no baby. What are you doing?" And it was genuinely so fucking weird.
Yeah, I can imagine it's just like it's almost like a delusion.
Mm, yeah, big time.
Mm. What?
Wild.
So you'd been together what, like a couple of months at this point?
Yeah, so yeah, about 3 months.
So halfway into the relationship, like I feel like that's something like about obviously people everyone's timelines are different, but like
Mm.
even with like in-laws, I just feel like it's such a personal thing to be discussing just in general, but to be having like group chats and for them to be the ones that are bringing it up constantly, like
That was like
strange.
I remember taking screenshots of it and sending it to my friend and being like, "They really want me to have a baby," and she's like, "Well, you're not gonna fucking do it, are you?" It's like, "No,
That's a good friend.
no." Yeah. Um, but yeah, so it genuinely felt like a cult.
Right.
Like it to me, like, and this is like a very far out there conspiracy theory. To me, it felt like they knew that Michael had like this obsession and like claim over me. What could they do to make sure that it stayed, like it stuck?
Right.
And that's how it feels now, looking back on it, to be like, they knew that he was a prick and they
Mhm.
wanted to keep me there.
Right.
And absolutely, God knows, I'm so glad I didn't. Like that
Yeah.
was probably the sanest I was in that relationship,
Yeah.
because fuck me, Jesus.
That's so bizarre. Like it's
Mm.
really bizarre behavior. I think for any point in a relationship, but especially so early on from someone that you've not necessarily you've known of, but it's not like you were friends for years and years and years prior.
Mm.
So after like all of that, was there like a turning point where things got worse? Like, did you have any like conversations about like we're not having children? Like,
No, so obviously, yeah, obviously I did say to him, it's not gonna happen. I don't want
hmm
a baby. Um I'm okay. I'm good, thanks. But there was this one night. Now he was very close to his nan who had passed away. And he had said to me, like, oh, by the way, the death of her anniversary is coming up. And I said, okay, that's cool. Whatever you want to do, I'll be there for you. I'll support you, whatever you need. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. And, we were just chatting about whatever. And I said, oh, by the way, on Monday, I'm supposed to be doing a forest stream with a friend. I'm just letting you know now, it's just us two.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's just going to be me and him, because that's how he wants it and it's his stream. So I have to respect that. And he was a bit funny about it, but he didn't really say a lot. Monday comes around, and suddenly it's the anniversary of his nan's death.
Right.
And I remember I was sitting on my bed and I had my TV on and I was ready. And he came in and he was like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And I was like, I told you about this. And he was like, it's her anniversary today. Why didn't you know that? And I was like, because she's not my nan. I don't need to remember that right now, to be honest. Trigger warning. Sorry. Obviously he started shouting and stuff, and I was a bitch. I was disrespectful. I was a C word and everything. And I stood up and I said, why do you think it's okay to talk to me like that? Like, why can't you just talk to me? And he pushed me against the wall so hard that I felt it in my shoulder blades. And then he held me there, and then he backhanded me across the mouth so hard I felt my lip just split. Wow. And I was sort of just dribbling blood for a minute. And I just looked at him and I went, what have you done? Why have you done this? What have you done? And I was in such a panic, and I was just like, I don't understand. Like, what's happened? Why have you done this? Like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And he left. And then, my friend's messaging me, hey, stream's about to start. Are you ready? And I'm like, fuck, okay. Yeah, because I made this promise to my friend and I have to honor that. So I did the stream. He wasn't here for it at all. But he had called my friend because he had integrated himself into my close friendship as well. And he called my friend. They were in a gay relationship, so both of them were my friends. But he said, oh, is the other one awake? And he went, no, what's wrong? And then he put him on speakerphone next to my friend, because they sort of knew that something wasn't right. And he said, oh, I think I scared Aura, like I slammed a door or something. Don't really know what to do. Like, she's deserted me. She's abandoned me on this really important day. And my other friend is messaging me, what's happened? Are you okay? He told me that you slammed a door, that he slammed a door. And I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. It was just an argument. And I was just like, I didn't want to deal with it in that moment. I was still streaming with my other friend. I didn't want to get into it right that second. And then obviously he came back and he was like, I'm so sorry, like crying and, all that pathetic shit. And he was like, I'll never, ever put my hands on you again. I would never do that. And I was like, okay, I forgive you. Like, we're okay. Like, it's okay. It's so stupid. But yeah, that was awful. And he took a picture of my back, of my bruises, just to show me. And he was like, oh, I'm going to delete the picture. Like, I don't want anyone to see. So make sure that no one sees. And I was like, okay. And I was like, what do I do about my lip? And he was like, just don't see your friends for a while. So I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah. That was quite difficult to hide, to be honest. One of my best friends, she loves to video call. She loves to sit there on call with me, even if we're not doing anything. So that was really hard to sort of navigate for a short period.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first time that it got physical. It only got physical once again after that. That was just, again, another backhand, more bruises and stuff like that. I won't go into it because it's just, it's the same story, basically. It's the same thing that happened. He thought that I was disrespecting him. He thought that I was the worst person on the planet in that moment, and he had to let it out physically.
Right.
Obviously, hindsight, don't ever stay after the first one, because it's not going to get better. It doesn't
Never
just
changes.
go away. Once they've put their hands on you, that's it. You're done. You don't need that. And that's what I should have done, personally.
Yeah, it's so hard, and like you say, with hindsight, everything, like hindsight's 2020. It's so easy to look back on, oh, I should have done this, or why didn't I do this? But it's the end of the day, it's a shocking thing to have happen to you. I can't begin to imagine what it must have felt like, and the shock that you must have felt.
It was genuinely such a mix of emotions. At first, it was just panic. It was just raw, like, what the fuck has just happened to me?
Mm-hmm.
And this person that I love has just done it to me. Like, how do I connect this in my brain?
Yeah.
And then it's, oh my God, that hurt. Why the fuck did you make me hurt? Like, why did you make me do that? Like, I don't want to feel that. And then it was self-blame. It was, oh God, how could have I avoided that? How could I have, could I have calmed him down? Could I have said something? Could I have been better? And fuck no. The answer is absolutely not. No, you could be the most amazing person in the world, and if a shitty person finds you, a shitty person finds you. That's the end of the story. It's not a reflection on you at all. It's them.
No. Yeah. Yeah, you really couldn't put it better. It says everything about them and nothing about you. It's like with a lot of abusers, they will find ways and words to like infiltrate your mind to make you believe that it's because of you or that it's your fault, but it's never your fault. No matter what is done, no one ever has the right to put their hands
So you fucking not
on another person.
No. Obviously, things weren't great throughout the rest of the relationship. It didn't last long. The thing that was the last straw for me, funnily enough, was I found messages on his phone that he had been talking to. He was in a Discord server with loads of other girls, and cheating.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, that was it for me, where I was like, you've disrespected me, you've cheated on me, you're done. Which is silly, because it should have been done before that. But I had never experienced abuse before. So it was very much like, I don't know, like, can we get through this? Are we going to be okay?
Yeah.
Whereas I have been cheated on before. You're done. It's not going to work. Get out.
You kind of knew what your boundaries were with that already. Like you knew where the tipping point was. Yeah. It's interesting that he was in a Discord full of like women, but the behaviors, like controlling behaviors he's shown to you and like your existing friends and implementing himself, like integrating into friend groups is like a natural part of relationships. But I feel
100%.
like when, like you were saying, like he has to be there every time, it was like complete control, isn't it? It's that controlling behavior, and that's where it becomes very difficult. Like you're just an extension of each other. You're not your own person.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, I don't think it helped that he didn't have any friends. So, and I had such a close net of people that hung out all the time, and we were constantly talking, and we were constantly doing stuff together, and all of that. So, I think he had to latch on to everything as close as possible to me. But I think he knew that he just couldn't do that with my family. My family is a don't fuck around at all kind of family.
If they're anything like you. With 6 siblings as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why he had to distance me from my family. He had to get me away from them. Even with my friends, he tried as well. I had set days that I was allowed to see friends and that I was allowed to play games, and then I had set hours as well.
Jeez, like a work rota.
it was genuinely, it was very scheduled. He would go through my wardrobe and he would say, well, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, and he would bin what he didn't think was acceptable out of my fucking clothes that I bought. Rude.
Bastard.
Yeah. And he would go through my phone. This is like what's wild. So when we first got together, he went through my phone to find out what I did when I was single and used it against me.
What?
Yeah. And it was this massive argument, and he did it with his mum. He went through my phone with his mum.
What the actual? Oh, I'd kick him. Like, that's so. That's really bizarre. Like, I've always heard of like people being like close with their mums and like being like mama's boys and things like that. But such personal things to you, not personal things to him, personal things to you.
Yeah. And it literally, we were out in her garden. I went to the toilet, came back, and he was just, he wasn't even trying to hide it. He was just sat there scrolling through my phone with his mum looking over his shoulder. And then she looked at me and she was like, I don't like you.
Oh.
Like, okay, I'll leave then.
Jeez.
She was like, no, I don't want you to leave. I just want you to know that I don't like you because I've seen what you've done when you were single.
What?
Fucking hell.
What? That's a real, like, it's kind of interesting. Like, do they think that's like normal behavior?
Must do.
Or maybe it's normal to them. I don't know. Like, I'm not one to judge if that's their norm.
Fuck knows.
But that is bizarre. Like, I'm like, my family is similar to yours. Like, we all talk, we get on, but we're not like, I'm not phoning my mum every day. I'm not speaking to my family like every day. Like, when I was living in Brazil for 6 months, I spoke to my parents like maybe 3 times, 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, but that oversharing is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was
for
crazy.
anyone.
Yeah.
So strange. So 6 months, you left after finding out about the cheating. I'm assuming you're very grateful for finding that out, because if you didn't, you might have been stuck a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing that you're just never really going to know. Like, and it was very weird. I was the one who introduced him to Discord. He didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And all it was is that he was showing me a video and I saw this Discord message pop up, but I didn't recognize the server. And I was just like, what is that? And then he locked himself in the bathroom and I was like, oh, now
Hold on a minute.
Fucking line.
Excuse me.
So yeah, that was it. But like he said, if I didn't know that, would I have stayed? Would I have still tried to heal this person who obviously had so many fucking issues? Would I have tried to be that good person and stayed with him through the thick and thin and all that bullshit? I don't know. I hope to think that I wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was dangerously close to losing everyone. At this point, my friends were joining Discord calls each night to talk about, oh, you know, I think something's going on with them. I think it's an abusive relationship. And to me, when I found that out, I was like, so you can sit there and call each other and tell each other your theories. You can help me.
Yeah,
so that was very tricky to navigate.
Yeah, I suppose because you don't really. One of my questions was like, how can friends or family like support someone who's like going through that? I feel like sometimes people don't know where to tread. People don't want to overstep any boundaries, or that like it's.
Yeah. My personal experience was I had one friend who's my best friend, and she is my protector, and she's my healer. I love her to pieces. She was just angry. She was angry that I wasn't telling her the full story. She was angry that I wasn't putting my foot down with him. She was angry that she couldn't say anything to him. you know, I'd slyly say to her, like, we've had an argument, it's not great, you know, stuff like that. And she was like, well, I'm going to say something. And I'm like, please don't. She didn't know it was physical at that point.
Right.
So she was very angry, but just sort of on the sidelines. And then I had my other two friends who just spoke about it. They didn't come to me and say, you know, we're worried about you or anything. And bear in mind, one of those friends was so close to my parents as well. Like, he nearly lived with my parents at one point.
Wow.
They were so close. So to me, coming out of it and hearing that they had just spent most of their time sitting on a Discord call talking about it but not doing anything,
That's hard.
felt very deflating, because it was just like, so you knew the signs were there, but you didn't act on it. And I spent a very long time forgiving people who weren't sorry, because how could they be sorry about not knowing what to do? And I couldn't blame them for it, but I had all this anger and rage after me and him split, and I couldn't direct it to him because I was never going to get answers. I'd gone complete non-contact. I was never going to get an answer from him. I was never going to get closure, but I could be angry at these people because they can fight their corners and they can tell me, you know, what their thought process was and, you know, where they were coming from. So I was just angry for a really long time that no one helped me. But then I had to sort of sit there and be like, well, you didn't help yourself. You stayed. Like, you didn't do anything either. So it's very hard, because having been that person in it, I genuinely don't think anyone could have helped me, because I mean, I could have phoned the police after the first time, but I didn't. And I could have phoned the police after the second time, and I didn't. I could have told any of my friends it's physical, help me, and I didn't. I could have broken up with him on the spot, but I didn't. There wasn't a single person on this planet who could have come to me and said, you need to end your relationship. Because if I didn't want to do it, I wasn't going to do it. And that's one of the problems that domestic abuse victims have, is that they just don't want to do it yet, or they want to and they're not strong enough yet.
Yeah.
So support and stuff, you can give advice if they want to hear it, but if they don't want to hear it, it's not going to do anything. They genuinely have to find the strength from themselves to want to get out. There isn't, you know, you can phone the police and, you know, that person might be locked up. Doesn't mean that they're going to leave. Doesn't mean that they're going to end the relationship. They might stay. You never know. But you have to find that strength from yourself to be able to want to. And it took me a very long time to realize that no one else was to blame except from him, because he did that. Yeah, I can blame myself and I can be upset that I didn't leave sooner. But I did leave soon. I left at 6 months. That is soon.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
not a lot of people have the strength at 6 months.
Yeah.
To go. 'Cause a lot of stories you'll hear do go on for years and years and years. So I'm grateful that you found the courage. Like, I don't want to say like so early, because it's 6 months too long.
Yeah,
But
100%.
like, you did really, really well in
Thank you.
finding that courage and getting yourself out of that situation.
Yeah. And it wasn't easy, because, like I said, you're left with all these emotions and stuff. You know, people who know me, I'm not really much of a drinker, to be honest. I'll do it socially if there's an
Strawberry
event or something
daiquiris.
going on. Maybe if there's a strawberry daiquiri, I'll have it. But I don't like to tend to drink. My sister was quite a heavy alcoholic when I was growing up, and just didn't really fancy it. But when we broke up, it's the saddest story that weekend. So I was on a Discord call with my friends when I was at work, and we had broken up the night before. And I was doing night work, so I could just, you know, sit on the phone with them and do stuff. My manager calls me in the office. They're still on call. They hear everything. I'm getting sacked. And
Oh.
it was just so sad because
Oh,
I come out
no.
of that meeting and I forgot that they were in my ears, and I just hear this tiny voice going, "Aura, are you okay?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Genuinely, I'm not." And
Oh,
I went
wow.
on a 3-day drinking binge. I wasn't sober for the entire time. Um, Not like me at all. I even wine, can't fucking stand wine. I drank like 4 bottles one night, just going for it.
Yeah.
Um, it was almost like I had to do something
Yeah,
because I
just
couldn't just sit.
yeah,
And
something had to happen, just, like, all of that culmination to just
yeah,
3
um,
days to just purge.
yeah, 100%. And we were doing Among Us one night, and I'm just chugging wine out of this bottle. You know, everyone's going to work the next day, and I'm like, "Fuck you guys, I'm doing a shot."
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
and yeah, it was really bad, and yeah, would not recommend doing that. Alcohol, it comes back down, and
Mhm.
it's not great. It doesn't fix anything, personally.
No, it doesn't fix anything, it just numbs the pain for a little while, but then if you don't just face your the sooner you face your reality, the sooner you can start healing and
Mm,
in becoming a
100%.
better person yourself. But
Agreed.
it's like, you didn't go down this spiral of alcoholism, like, how did you I feel like a lot of people, after going through domestic abuse, being let go of their job, like, that's that's the surefire way to becoming an alcoholic or a drug addict. Like, after your binge, what did you like? Did you just like, oh, I'm good now? Like, not I'm good now, but like, I've
Well, yeah.
I've had that purge out
Um,
my system, and now I could just focus on improving. Like, how do you like? What were the challenges in like rebuilding your life after
it
that?
it's kind of a blur to me, but I just dove head straight back into what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in people's streams. I wanted to game every night. I wanted to speak to my
Right.
friends. I wanted to, you know, see my friends. I wanted to see my family. Most of
Mhm.
all, I just missed my mum.
Mhm.
I hadn't seen her a lot, obviously, in that relationship. I just wanted to be me again, and it was a dumb idea to do also because when you're so focused on becoming someone who doesn't even exist anymore, you don't know where to go with that, you know? Like I could sit there and play games every night, but you know, when I turn my computer off, what do I do then? Because I'm still
Mhm.
stuck here. I'm still this empty shell of a person of who
Yeah.
I used to be. You can't fake it. And you can't force it either. Um, and it was just such a weird time of my life where I was just sort of floating. If someone said to me, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, okay," but I wasn't. My heart and my head wasn't into anything. Didn't want to
Mhm.
do anything. I was just very, very numb. Um, I'd lost motivation for everything. Um, and the the first time that it was months after we split up that I actually told someone what had happened. Um,
Oh, wow,
it
so
was
you had actually kept this, like, to yourself the entire time, like,
yeah,
still to
yeah,
this point, no one actually knew about the
yeah.
abuse?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like I said, they had speculated and, you know, come up with theories and stuff, and
Mhm.
they thought a lot of it was emotional abuse. Um, and to me, having gone through something like that, the worst part is having to tell your friends and your family that because you just break their hearts.
Yeah.
Because when they know that, they then blame themselves
The
and they
guilt.
then think, I could have done something. I should have seen
How
something.
did I
Why
not see
did
the signs?
Exactly, and I wanted to save all of them that, and I didn't wanna hurt anyone. I just wanted, you know, at this point, I wasn't even dealing with it. I wasn't doing anything proactive. I wasn't in therapy,
Mhm.
wasn't on medication. I was just floating, really.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, I eventually told someone. It was my best friend's boyfriend, at Winter Wonderland, of all places. Um,
Iconic.
And me and him, we've always had a very weird relationship. It kind of reminds me of me and you actually, where it's very banter. We'll rip the shit out of each other, but we don't get deep, and we don't hug either. We're not, you
Uh-huh.
know, I'm not like a physically touchy person anyway.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's that was him, and he was like my brother and everything. And he pulled me aside and he said, "Tell me the truth. What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know what you mean." And he was like, "No, no, cut the shit. What happened?"
Mm.
And I didn't go into detail at all, and I just said, "It got physical." And he was sort of stood there and he was nodding. He said, "I'm gonna hug you now." And I was like, "Ooh, please don't." And he was like, "No, I'm gonna hug you, but we don't need to tell anyone that we've hugged." So I was like, "Okay." And he hugged me and he went, "Always remember your worth. Don't take the bullshit." He said, "It's not fair." And I was like, "Okay, okay, I'll remember that."
I
Um,
like that.
and then I said to him, I said, "Just please don't tell Dee, who's my best friend." I said, "Please don't
Mhm.
tell her." I said, "Don't break her heart like that. She doesn't need to know."
Yeah.
And he said, "I won't, but she will. You'll tell her eventually. I know you
Yeah.
will." I was like, "Yeah, maybe." Um, and I sort of took that as, okay, well, he was okay, and he was supportive and nice.
Mhm.
Maybe I can just be honest about what happened. I'm not going through it anymore, so it's not a thing anymore. So why not?
Yeah.
And the next person I told was my mum. We were in a very public place. She had taken me out to a cafe, and again, she just looked at me and she went, "So what happened? What went wrong? What's wrong with you?" And I was like, again, I just said it got physical, and she just broke down, and I was like, "Oh fuck," because how can you hear your daughter say that? How
Yeah.
can you hear your daughter go through something like that? Like, someone you've created has been through that, and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Um, it just broke me, and I was so upset for her. But then I found myself comforting her and being like, "It's okay. I'm all
Yeah.
right. I got out. Like, I'm okay. I did it. I did it by myself." And like,
Mhm.
just me reassuring her, like, I'm all right. It was sort of like, holy shit, I've just reassured myself. Like, it feels real now. Like, I got out. I did that. Holy
Yeah, yeah.
shit. Like, that's strength. Like, fuck me. That's great. Um, and then that's it. I was just like, okay, I need therapy. Like, bam, let's do this. Like,
Mhm.
I've survived something. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's go for it. Let's heal. Um, and obviously, I did end up telling Dee, and yeah, she was sobbing. No, she
Yeah.
couldn't even understand a word that she was saying. She was just so heartbroken for me. Um, and that's just so hard because she's older than me, and I look up to her so much, and I'm like, I don't want
Mhm.
you to feel sorry for me, and I don't want you to feel like you could have done anything. Because at
Yeah.
this point, I'd realized, you couldn't have done anything. I
Mhm.
wanted to be there. I wanted to be in that situation. Um, and yeah, and then finally telling these people that were close around me, that was the hardest for sure,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to protect them from it. And it's
Mhm.
so weird because I wasn't protected from it, but you know, I can deal with the fact that I went through it. I can deal with the fact that I was hurt, but I cannot deal with the fact that that also hurt you, because that's not
Mhm.
fair. And fuck him for doing that to you as well.
Yeah.
That's not okay. How dare he hurt my people?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like
And
you can do. Sorry, go on.
that's just that genuinely, that was just what's crazy about it. Such a weird mindset to have, but
I think it's quite an
just love my
empathetic
people.
mindset to have, though, isn't it? Like, I think
Mm.
really why you work so well with children and
Yeah.
bringing and like the whole going back to the whole youth club thing and being able to empathize with people. Like, uh, um, I can deal with you hurting me, but don't you dare hurt the people that I love. Or like, yeah, yeah. It says a lot about you. I think
I hope
Uh,
so.
it's it's so hard. Like it really is. I think I found it quite interesting. You said when you were reassuring your mum, you inadvertently reassured yourself and gave yourself the props that you kind of needed to hear. Well, I say you kind of needed to hear from someone else, but in the fact you actually needed to hear it from yourself.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It wasn't, obviously I went through therapy and I've done the long talks with close people. I've cried about it so many times and I've gone through it, and the flashbacks and stuff, they don't happen anymore. But just to go through all of that, every single person in the world can sit there and say, Ori, you're so strong, you're so brave, I love that, like, you're doing so well, you're so healthy. It's not going to matter, because if I don't think that, I'm not going to believe you.
Mm-hmm.
My thought process is, there's nothing that you can do for me that I can't do for myself. If I believe that I am strong, then I am strong.
Yeah.
And if I believe that I have gone through something awful and I've come out this, still, not to toot my own horn, I'm an amazingly positive person. I don't need to hear that from other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do anything to get that sort of reaction from people.
Yeah.
I just sort of, I know it.
You
I
don't need
know
the
who I am.
validation externally.
Yeah.
You have it within.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very rare trait to have.
I
I think
don't know where it's come from.
you think it came from like your mom, or growing up with like siblings, or like you just feel like it's just how you are,
um,
who you are.
so a lot of my family suffer from mental health. My mum has borderline personality, bipolar, and depression. So she's got a weird mix there.
Yeah, she's got a three-peat
I've
there.
got I've got an autistic little brother. I've got a schizophrenic sister, and do you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole,
You guys are playing bingo.
right? Like, we are getting the infinity
I'm
stones
sorry.
of mental illnesses. Like, that's we obviously I was brought up around that. My sister is quite a very negative person. That's why I try and sort of keep my distance from her. My brother is in his own world. My mum, she will
Mhm.
shut down if she gets upset, and she won't talk to anyone and stuff like that. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Obviously been in and out of therapy, been on
Mhm.
so many medications and stuff like that throughout my life. Um, Genuinely, I think what it was is, and I know she's going to watch this as well. Me and Dee, one day we counted everything that had went wrong for me in a year, and we're not talking about like, oh, she lost her keys, or you know, she left her window open, it rained. We're talking about detrimental shit
Right.
stuff, like bad stuff for your mental health,
Yeah, like
um,
hardcore.
hardcore shit. We were um, in the high 30s, low 40s for a year. And I just, and then everyone was just like, oh, Aura, she's unlucky. She's just so unlucky. And I just sort of took that and I was like, well, yeah, I am fucking unlucky. I had 3
Jeez.
PCs break on me in 1 year,
Oh no.
right? Broke my fucking mental health. I'm telling you, I
Yeah,
genuinely
that's
felt like I was going crazy when that happened. Um, And I just took that, and like, I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person, but I took that as like, what am I putting out there to receive this?
mhm.
And whether you believe in that stuff or not, whether it worked for me, I don't know. But changing your mindset changes how you cope with things. It doesn't change what happens. Wishing for your plant to come back alive isn't going to work. You have to water it, you
Mhm.
have to look after it. Um, so that's where I was just like, change your fucking mindset, change how you view life. Like, life is not shit, life is beautiful and wonderful, and nature is gorgeous, and like, all these wonderful things happen. You're
Mhm.
focusing, you're pinpointing on this one thing, and it's ruining everything is black and white. You're not seeing the color because you're only seeing that.
Yeah.
And I did, and I changed my mindset. And yeah, I mean, things still go wrong for me, and I'm human, and I still fucking break down about it. And
Mhm.
but the one piece of advice that I've given myself lately is, feel it. You're allowed to feel it. If it's a bad day, let it be a bad day. It's already done. It's already over. Let it
Mm-hmm.
be a bad day. Feel the hurt, feel the pain, and learn from it. Because
Yeah.
if you just dismiss it, you're not learning anything. You're not experiencing it. Every shit thing that happens to you has a lesson, and you have to look for the lesson. And that's just what I do now.
Fucking love that, man. That is like, it's cool. I like looking at, so basically what I'm doing with, we'll get to it later, but I ask every guest to leave a quote or like a piece of advice. And Dom, the very first episode was, a smooth sea doesn't make a good sailor.
Loved that. Loved that.
So
Really.
you might be like the most experienced sailor we but it's true, like
I've been on some seas.
Christopher Columbus up in this bitch.
Oh yeah.
But it's true though, like your experiences mold you and shape you into who you are. And I could not agree more with the wicked people can shift their mindset into, oh, why is this happening to me? Like, and then if you can shift that into a positive outlet, the results are like astounding. And it's
Even like shit things are still going to happen. Like
yeah.
you're not immune. You're not a god now just because you've changed your mindset, you know. Like I went through something shit last week. Look at me now, you know. I'm all good.
Thriving. Yeah,
Thriving and surviving.
that's
Like
it.
it's and when you allow the pain to hurt, it's so much easier to pick yourself up from it.
Yeah.
Because you're not sat there thinking, oh god, I'm wasting time, why is this playing on my mind so much, why am I doing this to myself? Just let it be. Your body wants to feel it because it's still on your mind, so
Yeah.
feel it. It's okay not to be okay.
It is okay to not be okay. Like allow there is a fine line. Like allow to feel it, but also don't succumb to it.
You can
You're like,
feel it, don't drown in it.
yeah,
There is a
exactly.
very fine line. When it's been, like I said, bad day, sure, let it feel. But when you snap out of it, look after yourself. Go back to, drink your water, do something healthy because,
Mm-hmm.
it feels good, and go back to looking after yourself, like girls or men or whoever. Put on a face mask, like do something, just that one little thing for yourself after such a shit feeling.
Yeah.
And you're looking after yourself again, and you're not doing it mentally, you're doing it physically, which therefore helps you mentally as well.
Yeah.
But don't drown in it. You can't drown in it, because if you drown in it, then no one's getting you out of it, because that's ultimately, you've put yourself there, that's where you want to be, and that's going to be harder to get out. You can
Yeah.
feel it but not drown in it.
Yeah. And it's like the whole thing with the help as well. You what's the saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Yeah.
You can give all the help and support to someone in the world, but you have to be able to want it in yourself, and you do have to find the courage and the strength to do it. And I really hope to God that conversations like this and aid people and help people in getting that strength and being able to get themselves back so they're not drowning.
Yeah, 100%. And I genuinely think you're the perfect person to be doing this, because you're so, not only are you open-minded, but you're honest, and you're patient, and you're understanding, and you're just very respectful as well. And your demeanor and everything about you is just very welcoming.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, this is why I've been pushing you to do this for so long, because you are the best person for it.
Thank you.
And even so, obviously I've watched all the episodes that have come out multiple times now. I love the Dom one.
Mhm.
Kyle's one was such a different take on it, where it was still so
Yeah.
funny and lighthearted, but he had his moments as well, and he could really open up to you and stuff, and that was just great. And everyone's fighting, everyone's struggling, but when we open the conversation, people will join and they will lead.
Mhm.
Mental health should not be a stigma. It should not be taboo. It should not be that. Everyone should be talking about mental health. I mean, I spoke about it at work today. Like, it's so important, and it's just it's another thing that they should be teaching in schools, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It's I feel like it has come a long way in the last 5 years. I think it has come a long way astronomically, but there's still so far to go. I think I didn't actually tell anyone this, but I don't know if they're going to see this or not. But when I released the first episode, someone I work with saw it. Like, obviously, I think they just through Instagram, like, oh, people to follow,
Yeah.
whatever, clicked on my profile, and they took time out of their day to go to the one with Dom about like the anxiety and stuff like that, and actually commented on the video saying "gay?" question mark.
What?
And this person at my job is diagnosed with anxiety. And that really, it got me down for a few days. I deleted the comment. I was like, I'm not engaging it like this. I wasn't even going to talk about it and give it the light of day, but in the topic we're on, it kind of highlights the issues that I can't fathom in people's heads where that's okay.
Uh,
But it really did get me down for a few days, and I was just like, why is this getting me down? This again goes back to, it says everything about that person and not
yeah.
me, but it just made me feel sorry for them.
Yeah. And I
And
think that's the best way to look at it,
mm,
because you could have taken that and self-reflected on yourself and been like, oh, what have I done that was like that? And, you know, how can I change that in my future episodes and stuff? But
mhm,
instead you were like, wow, you just look kind of sad. Like, I'm
yeah,
sorry that you had to feel like you felt you had to do that. And I
mhm,
think that's the best way to go about it. Obviously delete the bad comments and stuff. Realistically, you're going to get them,
yeah,
whether it's from people you know or people you don't. It's going to
it's part of the
happen.
game. It's part of the game.
What I find really interesting is how can you suffer with something and then make fun of it from someone else? Because that's not your story to make fun of either.
Yeah, that's what grinded my gears.
Yeah.
I just
Um, yeah, I mean that's kind of pissed me off too.
yeah.
But the game's the
Yeah,
game. Do you know what I mean?
game's the game, but it like, yeah, it is what it is. I didn't want to give it the light of day, so like, I'm not gonna mention it again. But it's interesting to think about. But which would, like,
Yeah.
going back to your point of it should be taught in schools, like educate people on how to have these conversations and not have like a reactionary, like it's an immature response to something that they clearly aren't ready or aren't knowledgeable on how to have that conversation.
I agree. I agree.
But teaching in schools
It's
would be,
always the ones. It's always the ones who aren't ready for the conversation or aren't
mhm.
mature enough for that conversation that would say stuff like that because, you know, well, I mean, Kyle's pretty immature, but
Yeah, Carl's immature.
um,
But he wouldn't do it in a way to he wouldn't do
no,
it to someone else. He would do
no,
it to himself.
do it to himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fine to do. Make fun of your own story, make fun of who you are and whatever. That's fine
Yeah.
because you're not being disrespectful. Doing that to someone else when they're telling their truth and their story,
Yeah.
you've crossed a line, and I don't
Yeah.
think that's okay. Yeah.
No. No, I agree. But I think we won't leave it on a negative note. I did
Cool.
actually want to ask you. Normally, I ask for a quote or a piece of advice, but before that, I do want to ask: what would you say to your past self after everything you've gone through, everything you've dealt with? What would you say to? Let's make it a two-part. What would you say to your past self pre-relationship and post, like pre-abuse and post-abuse? What would you say to your past self?
I'm guessing I can't warn myself to get the fuck away from him. So
I mean,
I
you could.
could.
There's no genie rules
Um,
here.
Pre-abuse, I would say you know you know what's acceptable, you know your worth. Don't tolerate less because you're the only one suffering from that. And why would you want yourself to suffer? You
Mhm.
know, you know it's not right. so don't let it happen. Post abuse, I'd say get help sooner, reach out to a therapist sooner. Don't be angry with your friends and family. Don't be angry at yourself. There's only one person to be angry at. And learn to forgive quicker. That was something that I struggled with in therapy, was that if I wasn't angry at him, did that mean that I forgave him? And ultimately, when I sit here now, I do forgive him, because I can't carry that. I can't carry that hate and anger and rage forever. You know, I know that he's got a new girlfriend. One of my friends was like, "Oh, I'm going to message her. I'm going to warn her," and I was like, "No, stay out of it. It is what it is. Maybe I was just, you know, the one time. I don't know." But yeah, just learn to forgive quicker, because it's so healing for yourself, personally.
Yeah, forgiveness isn't weakness; it's a strength.
100%.
No, I love that. And to wrap it up, would you leave a quote or a piece of advice for anyone listening?
Pressure.
Mhm.
I think I'm just going to go back to let the pain hurt, because it teaches you, you know, and even if you don't know straight away, you'll know eventually that it's trying to teach you something.
Mhm.
You know, if it's a relationship or a friendship even that's quite toxic and it's painful, it's not supposed to be painful. So why is it painful? What is it trying to tell you? So yeah, let the pain hurt.
Like that. That's a very beautiful way to wrap things up. I
Thank you.
am very, very grateful for you. I am very thankful for
Thank
you
you.
sharing your story, and I am very, very proud of you for opening up with us.
Thank you.
Aura, how do you feel? Do you feel?
um I so I had a phone call with Dee before this.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna cry." And she was like, "You're gonna cry." I was like, "No, no, no." So I'm very happy that I didn't cry. But I just, you know, just because I'm not crying doesn't mean that it doesn't still
Of
affect
course not.
me.
Of course
Obviously,
not.
it's been nearly 3 years now. I'm a completely different person. But yeah, that stuff does stay with you. But
Yeah.
I'm happy in myself that I'm able to talk about these things openly and honestly, without referring back to the emotion that it used to bring me. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud of myself that I was able to do it.
Yeah.
So
No, it should be.
happy.
You should be. Well,
Thank
Aura,
you.
thank you so much for talking to us. And yeah.
Thank you for having me so much. It's an
Of course.
honor.
Of course, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
In your face, D, she didn't cry.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dee.
On that note, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.